and other efforts at dealing with this issue, the efforts of many actors can be derailed by the actions of a few powerful state actors who have an inordinate role in the international community. And we have to find a way to communicate to them as to our concerns as the global south, partly because we are suffering the worst of climate change. We have to find a way of reimagining how international law is made, including in the environmental law area. What has been called by Raja Gopal and others, international law from below, and this is one of those areas where we need international law, not just from up, because some of it won't come from up because, as I said already, some state actors who, for whatever reason, denialism, somehow can't seem to accept the link between what they are doing, industries, and climate change. So this is one of those areas where international law should act and can arise from below. And this conversation that we're having today is certainly critical in that aspect. And it's in therefore in this regard that I'd like to appreciate the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Royal Danish, of the Republic of Denmark, the Kingdom of Denmark, and here in Uganda, the Royal Danish Embassy certainly. Appreciate again Creek and Professor Ole Wever for a long-standing support and partnership with URIPEC and the School of Law in particular. To appreciate the conveners, the collaborators, the reviewers, those who are going to present papers, the reviewers, those who are going to present papers and discuss them, you who have come today, both physically and online. But in a very special way, I'd like to, it's said, it's amazing what can be achieved if one doesn't care who takes the credit. And that's certainly true. And it seems that many times there's more struggle often about who is going to be recognized and who is going to take the credit. A lot of effort goes there as opposed to doing the actual work. But today I'd like to really take some time off and appreciate Dr. Sylvie Namwase, our colleague at the School of Law and the principal investigator on this project and other projects URIPEC has had, for really her inimitable effort, vision, clarity of purpose that has seen not just this but previous projects go quite well. And Sylvie, we appreciate you and we thank you for the work that you do. We don't take it for granted at all. You're one of those unsung heroes that sits at the back but does things that carries all of us. We thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Sylvie. Colleagues, as you discuss energy transitions, climate change, fuel, cooking fuels, charcoal, and all these issues, we at URIPEC would like to convey to you our thanks, our support, reaffirm the importance of this discussion now and in future, underline the fact that it's not just an important discussion but an existential one, reassure Victor and Yavaji and others on Twitter and elsewhere that this is not a diversion from politics, it is linked to politics. Just as it was said that long time ago in 1993 at the Vienna Declaration, that human rights are interdependent, indivisible, and interrelated. You can't talk of the right to vote or the right to associate without talking about the right to environment, to clean and healthy environment, the right to life, the right to survive, not just as Ugandans, but as a human species. And in that sense, therefore, I'd like to thank you all once again and welcome you to the School of Law at URIPEC. Asanteni sana.
Thank you for those remarks. We shall have remarks from the St. Augustine University, Tanzania, who are also part of the project. They will be given by Professor George Mtalemwa, and is online. I don't know if... Hello, Professor.
Hello.
Yes, you can proceed to give us your opening remarks.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jeff Obo, and greetings everyone. Thank you so much for joining this important seminar. on localizing debates on cooking fuels amid energy transition and climate change dilemmas in East Africa. I'm George Mutalemwa, working on this project together with our colleagues at Huripec, Makerere, and Copenhagen University in Denmark, with the Oliver present today. So it's a great honor that we can discuss a very important topic for all of us today. And our gathering this morning is a testament to the urgency and complexity of the clean cooking challenge. We are not here to simply discuss global policy, but to ground this critical conversation in the specific realities of East Africa, particularly Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya. By localizing this debate and deeply relevant to our communities. The global energy transition is moving with pace, but with East Africa, we face a unique and persistent dilemma, because for millions of households, especially in rural and peri-urban areas, the reality is still of dependence on traditional and polluting cooking fuels, such as firewood and charcoal. And the resilience carries a heavy burden. For example, there is environmental degradation. There are also health and gender inequality issues, such as exposure to household air pollution, which causes premature deaths, while women and children bear the brunt of the related health risks and drudgery of fuel collection. There is also a challenge of a just transition. As we navigate the energy transition, we must ask critical questions. The push for clean fuels like electricity and LPG with the financial realities of millions of East Africans. For many, cleaner options are simply unaffordable. How do we ensure that our solutions do not leave the most marginalized behind? A truly just transition is one that prioritizes the needs of those on the front lines of both energy poverty and climate vulnerability. How can we leverage promising localized technologies and fuels? Innovative options like sustainable bioethanol produced from local crops and efficient improved cook stoves offer viable pathways forward. Today's seminar is a crucial step towards answering these questions. Our focus is on listening and building from the ground up, rather than imposing top-down solutions. And here, there is a theory known as the People's Organization Development Theory, which actually will help us to build our conversation and our arguments based on these bottom-up and bottom-bottom solutions. So, we need to have inclusive dialogue. We need to engage local leaders, private players, and most importantly, the communities who are most impacted by this issue. But also we need evidence-based strategies. Case studies from East Africa on the cost and uptake of different fuels can provide critical insights. But we also need innovative policies. Government and partners must explore financial incentives, supply chain improvements, and public awareness that are tailored to local contexts. I would like to express my gratitude once again to our organizers and partners. Our colleague Sylvie has been thanked by the director of Huripec, and I would like also to extend my gratitude to her, but also to the whole team at Huripec and Makerere University, but also the University of Copenhagen in Denmark, and my colleagues from Tanzania who are now in Makerere and some are joining online. for bringing us all together today. Your commitment is helping to amplify East African voices in a global conversation. Let us engage in hard but necessary discussion today. Let us move beyond the rhetoric and focus on concrete, localized solutions that will secure a healthier, more equitable, and more sustainable energy future for our region. I thank you very much indeed.
Yes, thank you so much for those remarks. Next, we shall have Professor Ole Weaver from the Center for Resolution of International Conflicts, CRIC, to give opening remarks. Yes, Professor.
Thank you very much, and thank you for organizing everything. I'm so sorry not to be able to participate in the room today. I'll be relatively brief to allow you who are actually doing the work to get into the matter. As my two colleagues, Dr. George and the Republic Director already said, this is really a very important theme. I think it's striking that also compared to the time when we started thinking about this project first, it has become clearly more and more topical as we go along. We can see that both with developments in each of the countries where the political conflicts over charcoal have become more and more clearly pronounced, where we were more or less predicting this to become so, it's now more visible. And at the same time, the global climate policy increasingly shows the importance of climate justice as a strikingly problematic aspect to an ever-increasing degree. So I think that the general idea of the project has already been hinted at, that we are in a context of where greening, decarbonization, dealing with climate change is a global agenda, but it's a global agenda that is to a large extent defined by northern climate policies, and where the transitions get concrete is usually at the local level, and it's seen very clearly at the local level, specifically in East African countries where societies are impacted in so many different ways, food, health, gender, and so on, by transitions that are often not very well attuned to the local conditions. So what we are trying to do with the project is to challenge the dominant technical fixes that focus on just technologies without understanding societies, and we want to create a debate thereby with the legislative and legal and political frameworks that should become better able to handle these processes in constructive ways. So let me just appreciate again the work of Dr. Sylvain Ambroise and the colleagues in Makerere for organizing this. I think today's seminar looks extremely promising. Many really important papers are listed, and I'm especially happy to see that we have a much wider regional participation than we have had previously in the project. I look forward to learning from all these papers and to listen throughout the day. So thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. We shall have someone, a representative from the Royal Danish Embassy. I'm told Frederick is here. Yes, yes. Yeah, thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, my name is Frederick. I'm a senior program advisor with the Danish Embassy. I'm honored to join this conversation, which touches each of us. I was just reflecting yesterday with my wife when I like matoke. And so those of you who love matoke, you know what it takes to have a matoke meal. It means you have over 4 hours of kubobeza, of putting that matoke over a fireplace. So we're debating over buying charcoal, and I must say I'm among those who should have transited. But I can assure you, we had lunch, I think past 4, because we wanted charcoal. And I said, if we are struggling like this, and tomorrow we are going to talk energy transition, what does this mean for an ordinary person? So the debate of energy transition is not just a technical discussion, it is a reality that each of us, we have to think about what does it mean. So this is a very, pertinent topic for us to discuss. So I think it is with great honor that we meet today, and I want to convey our appreciation to Huripec, St. Augustine University, and all the other universities that are involved in this. And as we gather today to discuss this topic, we need to explore the different dimensions of this transition, both in terms of what it means for us, both to the women, to the children, and the youth. If you look at charcoal trade, the young people are involved in this trade. So when we talk about this transition, what does it mean? The women and the children who bear the brunt of looking for firewood, there is opportunity for this transition, but what exactly does it mean for them? So I think these are the important questions we need to discuss in a context where we have over 80% of households across East Africa depending on biomass fuel for cooking. And this discussion is not just an environment concern, but it's a cultural discussion, as I shared about my matoke liking. It is a subject about gender, because as I shared, at the end of the day, as I was busy, my partner was concerned about food. So it's also a gender issue as we talk about this. It's a subject of economics. There are people surviving on this. So the economics of it. It's a political debate. As we know, there are people who are in this trade and would want to continue benefiting from this. And so the aspect of localization for me is very important, because we are taking this from the global discussion to make it owned by us and break it down to what it means. I think we need to put on table some key questions. Number one, this transition, how can it happen in a context where affordability of options is out of the reach of the majority? How many of us can afford to pay for gas as an option, for electricity for cooking, and all the other options, including the energy saving stove? How many poor Ugandans can afford? And what does this mean in terms of transition? What is the role of the academia in providing the alternatives, both in terms of research for alternatives? I was reflecting with a colleague and was saying that quite a number of energy saving stoves we have are not as efficient, because he said, is it vermiculite or something they use, that many of them could be lacking. I don't know, I'm not technical. But I think research has a role to play in providing alternatives, but also linking evidence-based research to policy. Because our policies, unless they are grounded in research, we are going to have policies that end up not being implemented. Thirdly, what are the opportunities for this transition, and how can we tap into these opportunities? As a Ugandan, I keep thinking transition might happen, but who is like to benefit from this transition? How can we benefit? If we are going to depend on technologies developed elsewhere and then imported for us, I don't think that would be a fair transition. We must this transition in the face of the young people who are trying to make a living from these sectors. And lastly, how can we ensure that the transition is inclusive of the voices of the women and all the other actors, the children, and all of us who are involved in this sector? Ladies and gentlemen, these are the questions we have. Academia is about debate, is about options, and we have no doubt that Huripec is providing that space. Therefore, Denmark is proud to associate with this conversation, and we are happy to associate with whatever options will come from this debate. We believe that the real change happens when the local knowledge meets with the global solidarity, when science, policy, and lived experiences are brought together in a constructive dialogue, just as they are today. We hope the discussions will not only shed light on the challenges, but also accelerate the innovations and success stories that are already emerging across East Africa. I wish to encourage all of us to participate with open minds, debate freely, challenge ourselves to think outside or even without a box, because the solutions will come from that open mind. Once again, I want to thank the conveners and I wish you fruitful deliberations. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for those remarks. Of the seminar, and it will be given by our very own the Deputy Principal, Dr. Zahara Nampewe. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Obo. Good morning. Yes, that good morning sounds a bit, but I hope that we shall pick it up during the course of the day. Welcome to the School of Law, Makerere University. Welcome to the Human Rights and Peace Center. We warmly welcome you this morning. Thank you very much for joining us. I walked in a bit late because of the traffic jam. That is no longer an excuse in Uganda, but sometimes I think in this electoral period, when there are all kinds of convoys, it is a bit unpredictable. So my apologies for arriving late. Once again, my name is Zahara Nampewe. I'm the acting dean of the School of Law here at Makerere University, and I speak in that capacity to welcome you and to open this academic seminar. Welcome most especially to our partners from the Royal Danish Embassy, from the Center for Resolution of International Conflicts, CRIC, at the University of Copenhagen, from the University, St. Augustine University in Tanzania, and all the other partners. Thank you also very much and welcome to the academic staff here at the School of Law, Director, Human Rights and Peace Center, the project principal investigator for this research project, Dr. Sylvie Namwase, and all the other colleagues and the HURIPEC staff who have put this together. You're all warmly welcome and thank you very much for making the time. My remarks will be brief because time is not our friend, but I just want to emphasize the role of the academia in these kinds of engagements. Last week, I was at a training where we were talking about the elimination of HIV as a public health threat. Uganda as a country has signed on to Agenda 2030, which talks about eliminating HIV as a public threat. And the scientists have done their work, but there is remaining work to be done in areas such as the law and access to justice. And the scientists have shown us that they cannot work alone. We as social scientists, as lawyers, need to come in. And this is the area that we need to play. In areas such as climate change, environmental degradation, one may think that this is an issue only for people who are doing agricultural and environmental sciences, but the issue of law, social science, anthropology are very much intertwined. So the role of academia, the role of the Human Rights and Peace Center is to provide empirical evidence to guide policy direction. The National Development Plan of Uganda, Plan number 4, is talking about green energy and decarbonization. And there's a lot of focus on the sciences, forest degradation, but this has to take an interdisciplinary approach. I therefore commend URIPEC and the School of Law generally in taking on this study. Of course, it sits very well with the mandate of Makerere University. The strategic plan of Makerere University 2020-2030 is to be a research-led institution that provides strategic guidance to Uganda's development. Therefore, when we are discussing issues of decarbonization, when we are discussing issues of climate change, this is very much something that deserves our attention as the School of Law and all the other partners. Of course, one of the challenges identified by the research at the very beginning were the dilemmas that are coming out from this whole discourse. There's a lot of international push, national push to go green, to go clean, but are we as a country, are we as a region, are we as a continent ready? It took our friends many, many years to get to where they are right now. What must a clean transition, a sustainable transition for sustainable development look like? I therefore welcome this study because it will be able to look at some of these questions and bring information to guide further policy direction to these very critical issues. Of course, I know that there is focus on particular parties, women, youth, really highlighting the role of everybody in this very important discussion. I therefore commend URIPEC for having this very timely conversation. I welcome you all once again. I would like to thank in a special way the Royal Danish Embassy and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Denmark for supporting us in this venture. Thank you too to our partners, Creek and South, for joining us in this 4-year journey. As we go on, let us be open-minded. Let us look at the dilemmas. Many of us, Fred from the Royal Danish Embassy said he loves his matoke, prepared over 4 hours. Some of us like roast fish. We like roast gonja. And then you ask yourself the question, how are you going to do these things and retain that cultural aroma that everybody is talking about? But the world must change, and we must change in a sustainable way. So let us keep open minds, and let us have a fruitful discussion for the day. Thank you very much, and I wish us all fruitful deliberations during the course of today. Welcome, and thank you very much, and I duly declare this academic seminar open. Thank you. It's a very busy morning. I've been asked by Dr. Kabumba to excuse him. This morning at Makerere University, we are also welcoming our new Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic Affairs. It's a whole ceremony where we are all going to be robed. So please excuse him. He has to go into that task. But he will join us in the course of the day. Dr. Rose Nakai, I didn't see you. I warmly welcome you and all the other colleagues in all your diverse capacities. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you so much for the welcoming remarks. We shall now go to the second part of our seminar, where we shall be having presentations from our panelists, and we shall also have presentations from the reviewers. We shall have 2 sessions in the morning, and this will be the first session. It will take about 1.5 hours. Our panelists will be Dr. Zahara. She's from giving opening remarks, but she also has a paper to present. She's here physically. We shall have Benedict Manishimwe, an independent researcher from Rwanda. Then we shall have Professor Kilele Muzaliwa, Professor of Law from the University of Goma in DRC. Then we shall have Juvenal Araka, who is an independent researcher also. We shall have 3 reviewers, Professor Kasimbazi, Dr. Emmanuel Ngabirano. I presume many of you are familiar with the names because they are from the School of Law, Makerere University. And Mr. Collins, or a renewable energy expert from the East African Center of Excellence for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency. So yes, on our panelists, Dr. Okay, she will come after the word. Then we can have our reviewers take the seats. Dr. Dan, I saw him around. I think he has stepped out, but I saw him earlier on. He's gone online? Yes? He's returning. Yeah, I saw him around. Mr. Collins, you can take the front seat. Is Professor Kasimbazi online? Yes, he's online, I'm told. Yeah, you're welcome, Professor. He's also one of our reviewers. So we shall have presentations first from our panelists who will present us with their papers and with the abstract. Is Benedict Manishimwe from Rwanda online? Please, Benedict, if you're online, please unmute. We shall have 10 minutes for each of the presenters. We shall have 10 minutes. You'll have 10 minutes. Benedict, are you online? If Benedict is not ready, is Professor Kilele online?
Hello, this is Professor Kasimbazi. I'm online.
All right, yes, thank you.
Hello, I'm online, Benedict from Rwanda.
Yes, Benedict, you're welcome. Are you ready to present for us the abstract of the paper? You'll be presenting for 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me share my presentation.
Yes, please.
Did you see it?
Do you have the presentation? Can you please reshare it?
I'm trying to share it.
Okay.
But the host has disabled participants to share the screen.
You've been given permission to share your screen.
Okay, let me try again.
Yeah.
Okay.
right. Yeah, you.
Good morning, everyone.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Benedict Manshimwe. I'm an independent researcher in renewable energy, especially in clean cooking and solar home system. I'm based in Rwanda, Kigali. It is my pleasure to present my abstract of my work on this seminar, and thanks HAPEC and the Danish government for organizing this event. For me, it is a good way for us as Africa or as any East Africa to do or to search what to do about cooking sectors. My research is assessing the impact of research-based financing on cooking technology adoption in Rwanda, social, economic, and environmental benefit. For the introduction, as we know, the East Africa, we are relying on firewood for donating fuel for cooking activity, especially in Rwanda. For the last statistic, biomass has 85% of domestic energy mixed, where most of rural population still using firewood and charcoal. So those dominance of biomass fuel is contribute on airhouse pollution risk, where we have respiratory diseases and the airborne, and contribute to environmental degradation, especially deforestation. For us as human, it is a burden. As the cooking activity, it is like a gender basis, especially for women and girl. So we spend the time of fuel collection, cooking time, etc. But Rwanda, East Africa, or region or international, we have an agenda to meet. Are we possible to meet this agenda, especially for African Union agenda of 2063 of giving 300 million of people to clean energy access, or to meet SDG 7, affordable clean energy, or to meet Paris Agreement? Coming for Rwanda initiative, we have set Rwanda cleaning cooking strategies, known as BEST. And so we have tried to accelerate the adoption using research-based financing program. Are we able? According to research RBF program, data on the population, improving cooking stove and other advanced technology are already distributed in order to reduce the biomass dependence and facilitate climate change mitigation. But the issue of the previous research has mainly focused on the impact or the benefits on the supply side than on the end user side. My research will be to look at the impact on the end user side, looking their adoption and behavior changing, which we show the benefit through the social environment and economic. The objective of this study assess how RBF influence adoption of improved cook stove, evaluate social, economic, and environment benefit, link cooking adoption to broader development goals. The methodology I tend to use is the literature review for the paper, the work report, policies, strategy, etc. And use Ubuntu Box app and data collection because you have to conduct the interview from different category. The end user, of course, the merchant on the sector. For example, there's a merchant who is used to sell the cargo. Now they are shifting to LPG because the LPG is taking place in the urban area. As well, we use Excel to analyze the data from data collection. The case study will be with Gesera, where we look at the urban area and rural area. The technology we assess will be improving cooking stove, like in this photo I'm sharing, the LPG, electrical pressure cooker, and electrical induction cooker. The expected outcome, it will be to demonstrate the RBF program in cooking sector in Rwanda has improved the affordability of modern clean stove, impact the end user of cook stove with socio-economic environmental benefits, such as reducing cooking time, lower respiratory health risk, decreasing deforestation, enhance livelihood, especially for the woman. From this finding,